Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Scorpio April 2024 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel St. James, clairvoyant. Now, this month I have an interesting deck for you. It's called the Unveiled deck. Now, it must be 30, 35, 40 years old or something like that. But it will enable me to provide you with a unique perspective on the energies and influences that are surrounding you this month. And it will help you to navigate the month with insight and with awareness, as is always the case with the readings that you and I conduct together, isn't it? So now you know that the cards are not a predictor of a fixed future, but rather they are, for me, lenses that reflect the energies that are swirling around you, and they enable me to provide guidance and a deeper understanding of the path that you are on. Now, this deck, in addition to the usual astrology and numerology that I use, this deck has Chinese I Ching hexagrams on some of the cards. It has Viking runes on some of the cards. It has ancient biblical Hebrew letters on some of the cards, and each of those also are windows or lenses through which energy can come through to me, which I can interpret for you. And of course, over the course of the last month, I've done a number of one-on-one clairvoyant readings for Scorpios from different countries around the world over FaceTime and Skype. And if you might be interested in seeing what's involved in that, just check out the information that's in the description box below. Now, separately, I've done a number of healings as well. Now, readings I charge for, I have to. But the other gift that I was given at birth, apart from clairvoyance, was that of healing. Now, the gift was given to me on the basis that, number one, I use it, and number two, I am to receive nothing in return for it. And so it is offered to you for free. There's no obligation. There's no catch. Nothing will be sold to you or recommended to you from me or anybody else. It is just what it is. And I'll forget everything that we spoke about at the end of the session, because I do that anyway with all the people that I see. Otherwise I would go mad. So have no fear. Over doing this for more than 40 years, I can assure you that there isn't anything that I haven't seen or heard. So don't be afraid and make use of it. So if you would like to find out more about that, then the information about that is in the description box as well. Now, we're going to take 5 cards. 5 is all that we are going to need, because with these other things that are in here this month, we're going to have our hands full. So let's see what the first is. The 6 of Wands. This is the Wheel of Fortune. Now, 6 of Wands has a Chinese hexagram. This Wheel of Fortune has a Viking rune and a Hebrew letter in it. So that will keep, let me see what's coming through. That's the Wheel of Fortune. Here is the Ace of Cups in the north. What's this? This is the 3 of Cups with a hexagram as well. And finally, what do we have? This one here, and it is the Devil. The Devil with a rune and a Hebrew alphabet letter. So, why don't you come around? I'll bring the camera around. You and I can have a good close look at the imagery that's on these cards together while I do the reading, especially for you. Let's go, and I want to have a look at this one first, only because I think it looks so interesting, the painting on it. Let's have a closer look at it, shall we? Now, this is the Wheel of Fortune here, and what we can see is look at this down here. First of all, the wheel is set up against a starry sky in the background. Do you see a face of a woman down here? You might be able to make that out. That's Mother Earth gazing up at the wheel. Up here, you'll see the image of the sky god Zeus. Now, there's a palm of the hand turning the wheel. That relates to this Hebrew letter, which I'll get to in just a second. There are mushrooms down here. Now, what might mushrooms relate to? I think that they relate to very good luck. I'm also seeing a child up here, which could be a little boy or a little girl, but with a very old face. And I think that refers to all the previous generations that have gone before us. This snake here is referring to change and to regeneration. There's an eye that you might make out, which relates to time, I think. And upside down here on this spoke of the wheel, it looks like a turtle, but actually I think it is a dinosaur, which shows us of ages gone past. Now, looking at this Hebrew letter here, the rune rather, you know how the runes came about? What happened was, in Norse mythology, Viking mythology, the king of the gods, Odin, was a great seeker of wisdom. And in order to obtain some wisdom at one time, he was required to tear out one of his eyes, which he did. So he's depicted as being a one-eyed god. Now, to find out what the runes meant, he hung upside down from the tree of life and gazed down into a well, the well of Erd. And he hung from the branch for 9 days and 9 nights without eating or drinking. Now, inside of that well, there lived 3 Norns, as they are called, 3 unmarried women who were similar to the fates in Greek mythology, and they determined what went on with people's lives. And also resident within the well were the runes themselves. And finally, after 9 days and nights, the runes slowly floated to the surface so that Odin could see them, and he received the wisdom and sacred knowledge that they had to offer. Now, this particular rune here, that is, well, it's a form of the Elder Futhark letter, which is Yara, and that refers to harvest, or a cycle, a reward for your past efforts coming through now, and reaping what you have sown. It represents also the cycle of the year, or more particularly, the turning over of a new cycle, the end of the longest night, and the slow returning of the light. This is a reward for your past actions, and it is a time now for you to reap what you have sown. Now, turning to that Hebrew letter, let's just have a look at the shape of it again. You see how it's sort of cupped around there? Well, it's the letter Kaf, which is the 11th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, as I recall. It means literally the cupped palm of the hand. It's like a cupped, outstretched palm which is ready to receive something. It's also the shape of all containers, like a bowl, a cup, or a jar. Those things, they're all based on that basic curved shape. And it represents the idea of a container. That is something that it is held. It represents form. Now, a house is a form that contains the going on of the people inside of it. A body is a form which contains the life and energy of you. The forms of the physical world are where the spiritual essence of life is able to manifest. And I think that this is also asking you to shape yourself, to bend your ego and shape your character. Now, it is this energy that gives form to matter. It contains all the possibilities of containing, of building, and of forming all of existence. It is the letter of formation, bending a straight line into a curved shape. So it teaches you to bend and govern your tendencies and to shape your character as well. Now, I think it's the case that this is speaking of for you a new beginning, an expansion, a period of great creativity, a big breakthrough coming now, probably some unexpected fortune. There's great good luck around here, a chance opportunity, winning, a few ups and downs, but there's the possibility also of a chance meeting which could be life-changing. Might also mean that there's going to be some unexpected change in your life, which is going to be favorable. But it may not necessarily seem that way at first. So be ready to act on any unexpected opportunities. Now, when times are going well, stay centered, because things always change, don't they? And if things are challenging, don't be discouraged, because this is a turning point. Things are going to get better. Change is going to happen. Now, you may need to alter your present course or change things around to set the stage for the right outcomes to come into your life. Really, if no miracles are happening, then something is definitely wrong. And I do think that you stand before the possibility of a great breakthrough, so use this moment. Are you really ready for the great fortune? What is still standing in the way? But say to yourself, I am a prosperous individual. I am flexible in times of change. I enjoy manifesting internal abundance externally. Abundance, which created me, is what I am. And so I am now ready for the miracle of my life. Now then we turn to, well, why don't we go down the diagonal? And here we have the swirling energies here that are all around you. I think you'll be able to get the gist of what's happening here. Now, this has got you written all over it. I think Sagittarius and Libra are going to be important for you as well. But this is speaking of deep emotional clarity and a deep love of yourself at the moment. Also of giving and of receiving. Now, this is the Suit of Cups, and that's about relationships, the pursuit of happiness, love, fulfillment, pleasure. Of course, we can't understand those unless we've had the opposite. Now, this is a time when the unconditional cup of love is being offered to you. Will you drink from it? This is bathing you in love in its purest sense and speaks of abundance. There's a new relationship here, or there's the deepening of an existing relationship. I do see that you're going to hear news of a birth or pregnancy. There's a lot of sensual passion, and there's an emotional balance available to be used and drawn upon by you for the next year. You are now in contact with all-embracing love. It fills you, and you can pass it on generously, lavishly to others. Say this to yourself. An all-encompassing love fills me and my environment. And down in that triangle, there's this Three of Cups. Well, this is interesting. I'm looking at these 3 cups here, and I find if I draw a triangle like that, they actually form the symbol for fire. But the 3 cups are in a cave, which indicates that this energy deals with inner experience as well. Now, there are rocks at the bottom of the drawing or the painting, and maybe they do a hint of some danger. However, the cups are overflowing with joy. And here is one of those hexagrams that I mentioned in the outset. The broken lines are yin, or receptive principle. The unbroken lines are yang, or active principle. Now these hexagrams, or hex means 6, but these things can be read either as at 1 at a time, 2 at a time, or 3 together, or as I read them, as 6 together. And reading it as 6 together, I guess that these things are all contained in an ancient Chinese text called the Book of Changes. And if I was to look at the translation into English, I imagine it would be something like excessive pressure or a great force. Something is about to break through. There's a great pressure causing an imbalance that needs correction. It's almost as if there is a dam about to burst. Extraordinary times are going to bring out the best and the worst in people, of course. Now, I think that this might just be the moment that you are waiting for. Although there could be some current challenges around that maybe seem to be more than you can handle, remember that a flood reaches its high water mark only for a few brief moments before it begins to subside. Now, action has got to be taken now to ensure opportunities for success later on. You never know the true extent of your abilities until you, at least once in your life, dive into a crisis with complete abandon and dedicate every ounce of your energy and every fiber of your being to the cause at hand. And this is suggesting that there's something around here that is saying that now is that time. Dare to win. Now, there's another aspect to this card which deals with the astrology, and that is Mercury in the second decan of Cancer, the 2nd to the 11th of July. Well, Cancer is the most maternal of the signs. It's almost like a womb in which things can grow and develop. And Cancer people well, they're kind of sensitive, I think, aren't they? This is also talking to me of an overflowing exchange of love, rare, valuable feelings, which you can now communicate intimately with someone else. Because Mercury, the planet of communications, is in Cancer, nurturing, so you can express yourself fully with people that you are close to. Now, this, I think, also relates for a period here now where there's going to be the birth of an idea, a goal, or a child. You have that breakthrough, that pressure, that outward movement that this hexagram is referring to here. And there's a sharing of success with others, and life for you is going to feel good. Now, it's definitely a good time to tell, which is Mercury, other people that you love them. And it's a good time to boost the morale of others. I think that you have something especially valuable to share, so be open for the people with whom you can share these exquisite feelings. They are also a gift. You don't need to look for them. And you might ask yourself, for example, are there any people towards whom you have not yet outwardly expressed the love you feel for them? Give whatever you would like to now, in full awareness of your boundless riches. There's an extravagance to life now. There could well be an outpouring of love to 3 important people in your life as well. Say this to yourself: today, life gives me everything I need to be happy. Well, let's have a look at the devil, shall we? And see what the devil has for you this month. Fascinating. Fascinating. There's a rune again and another Hebrew letter. Now, what's going on in this painting? Well, what I see is that, well, first of all, I look at the art, and it's organized around a diagonal line that's broken by a crystal, which transforms, I think, the aggressive instinct of the devil. Now, the snake that you see there is an image of rebirth and the visionary experience. Now, arguably, it could also be about evil, if you look at the mythology. And the devil has 1, 2, 3 horns, if you look at it then, and 3 eyes. And the eye is interesting, because I'll look at that Hebrew letter in a second, which is about eye. And it's wearing a stone, like a stone crown. Now, this Hebrew letter that's here is called, what is it called again? Algies. Now, algies, it means like those animals, elk, those animals that run around. It's also about luck and protection for you. It's about connecting to your higher self, and it's bringing you in as if to a sanctuary. It's a protective and guardian force, but it's also a warning of something against which you should be guarded. That might be calling you to seek sanctuary and raise your higher consciousness, to be aware of any threats that may be on the horizon. But although this algae might be a call to action, it's also an omen of very good luck. Allow it to heighten your awareness and keep you safe from harm. It brings luck to people who need guidance around life's pitfalls and potholes, I suppose. Actually, I know a witch who has the algae sign embedded into jewelry as a protective spirit that helps keep her on the true path and which strengthens her power and luck and her life force. Now you can see this Hebrew letter here, and you get the idea of the shape of it as well. Well, that's Ayin. Now Ayin is the 16th letter of that biblical Hebrew alphabet, and it means eye. And so it has to do with vision and bringing forth lights that are hidden. And it teaches you to see beyond. And it also relates to time. It's the aspect of the visionary to see not just what's happening in front of it, but to see what's going beyond. Now, it's asking you to open your eyes to see beyond the physical. And it's meant to take you from dark to light. And it's urging you to break through the walls of limitations in order to see what is not yet visible to you. Now, this is Saturn ruling Capricorn with Mars exalted. Mars here in its best form, the fiery material energy of creation. So there's a great deal of procreative energy around here. There's a new vitality coming into your life. You'll have a good sense of humor. There's a lot of sensuality and sexuality, a lot of creative energy. And I think you'll be quite an individual here. You might be inclined sometimes to do things just on blind impulse, but you are going to be irresistible to other people, and you'll have a great deal of endurance as well. I think that what we see here also is it's very good for business and career matters. You can be very focused because I don't think the devil lets anything distract it from its vision. And there's a great deal of materialism around here, particularly due to the Capricorn energy. Now, you might also ask yourself the question, which is, do you have some wish or desire that you don't admit to? Nevertheless, say this to yourself: I am a vital, joyful, and grounded person. I enjoy my sexuality. Whether my problems are real or imagined, I can handle them realistically and with good humor. I have nothing to fear. I am the master of my life. Now let's have a look at the final card, and the final card is this one. Oh yeah, there's a hexagram down the bottom of it. What's interesting about this hexagram is notice how they are all broken lines, they're all receptive. Here are these spears and they are all of even height, and here are the ivy leaves of victory growing up from the rock. So victory after what has been something of a barren period, I think. Now with all these lines like this read together, I see that as being receptive power. Do you know that great receptivity attracts great gifts and great blessings? A natural responsiveness attracts success through support and perseverance, rather than necessarily through aggressive action. So you can be like the wise person that demonstrates strength, like a powerful but gentle mare rather than the rampaging stallion. This is a really, really lucky hexagram to have here, probably one of the best, I think. And it represents the feminine principle. So there's a receptivity here, which is much more powerful and healing than you might think. Now, this receptive force that's through here, which is leading you to victory, which is bringing through success, this receptive force is sensual and subtle and can be overlooked by overthinking things or over-planning things. Because, look, when the spring comes, does the grass plan to grow? No. And the mature feminine, well, she allows herself to be guided by a higher power and is skilled at graceful acceptance. And spiritually, her quiet contribution is very effective, bringing a very deep sense of success. Astrologically, it's the planet of Jupiter, great good luck, great success in the sign of Leo. So you have victory, success, clarity, a breakthrough here, and feeling inspired to continue on. And there's a lot of recognition from other people at the moment, and I must say, you might enjoy being in the limelight. And say this, I am now ready to enjoy success in my life. Every event in my life brings me closer to my final goal, and my victory brings benefits to all involved. Great job. I told you it was an interesting deck, didn't I? And I hope you enjoyed that reading as much as I did providing it to you. Now, unless I see you privately for a reading or for a healing, then of course I'll see you again next month. And until then, though, remember one thing, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.